Hello! Do you want to become the best soccer player? Then you come to the right place. I'm going to tell you what you have to do and what you have to think, and you have to want it to be the best. My name is Sten Kvalheim. I've been doing this for the last 25 years. This is the first time I go on English because I'm a Norwegian and I've been training people here in all kinds of sports, but the most experienced part of me is in soccer. I have trained players in 13 of the 14 Premier Leagues in Norway, the club that is the best in Norway. And I have been training people that have come to the national team of Norway. It's 9 players I got there. I also tested this among young players that is going or wanted to be the best. For these 10 players we picked up in a test, 8 made it to the Premier League's clubs in Norway, and 6 of them made to the professionals in United States, England, Scotland, Germany. Why? Because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing and they know how to become the best and stay the best. It's just one problem with the most of people, every people, that somebody wants to be Ronaldo, they want to be this best. And players around them is staying there and they are there. But when I train somebody, they come above the other people. And they get pleased with it. But Ronaldo is over here and Messi too is up here. But they are satisfied very early. So you can become the best if you want to, but you have to want it. And you have to make the skills. And I give you the skills mentally, by mental training, because I know how this will affect you. Because mental training is a toughness, because so few is involved in this because it's some kind of hard work. You have to do this hard work. Henry Ford said something like this: thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason so few engage in it. So you have to make thinking just not only physical training. I met Juan, the expert of all experts in psychology, Dr. Anders Ericsson from Florida University. I was in a lecture with him. Afterwards, I went to dinner and sit and talk to him in 2 hours to check out my thoughts, what he was thinking, how the thing was working. And he was very curious on how I was working. I was very curious about how he was working. So we did it 2 hours, just went away. And it was amazing to meet a person like this, the real expert over all experts. And he said that peak performance is a skill that you can make it. Because of the 10 players which I was pointed out, it wasn't the best talent. They were talented, but what they really was, they really wanted to be the best. That's why they become among the best players. So, if you want this, you do this, but you have to decide it now. You follow me, you listen to what I have to say to you and the explanation I'm giving to you, because it makes a change in you. We had one other very clever man. It was Albert Einstein. He said something like this: everything you do today has an effect in the future. And if you have an effect today, then it has its cause in the past. Start now and start with wanting to be the best. Then you are able to do what you ought to do to be the best. It's a difference between thinking and doing. If you think and do, then it makes the all difference for making the top. The peak performance, as Dr. Anders Ericsson was talking about, is what I'm going to show you, how you can make it, believe me. Here's an interview with Larry King. And there's a few clips of that is wrapping this up before we go on to the next video.
How much of it is natural talent, though?
Practice and training, that seems to explain, at least it seems to be necessary for them to have done that to reach this high level. So this idea that somebody more or less discovers suddenly that they're extremely good at something, I've yet to find even a single example of that type of phenomenon.
And then it becomes what drives you, right?
I think that is exactly the question here, because what we find is that when you're actually trying to do something that you can't do, which is essentially deliberate practice, because you're trying to improve your performance to a level that you haven't yet reached, that requires a lot of concentration and focus and effort.
I recommend you to see the whole video with Larry King. It's put on a link underneath here, and you can also go there to see the interview with Dr. Anders Ericsson. It's fantastic, isn't it? So this is a good start. So I'll see you in the next video, how to become the best soccer player.